Don't you hate it when you've been good with your diet and training all week, only to step on the scales and see that the weight has moved up rather than down, and that leads you to freaking the fuck out? Let's talk about why no matter how hard you try, you can't see your weight going down on the scales. Right now, I'm sure you're wondering, is it because of my genetics? Are they holding me back? Do I have a broken metabolism that's stopping me? Or am I just eating too little that my body won't let me lose any body fat or lose any weight? Well, I'm going to answer all those questions in this video, and I'm going to eradicate all the wrong answers and leave you with the one true answer to the reason why you can't see the scales going down. So let's first discuss about what it isn't. So the first thing it's not because you're building too much muscle that it's masking the scales. Despite how many people and how many trainers say this isn't true. To put it in perspective, you could lose up to 2 pounds of body fat every single week if you get everything right. But if you get everything right for building muscle, you can maybe build a pound of muscle a month, 1.5 pounds of muscle a month. So again, we cannot build enough muscle mass to mask the scale weight not going down. The next thing that's not holding you back from losing weight on the scales is eating too little. This right here is what would happen if you was eating too little. You would starve to death and lose all of the fat on your body. Now, this has been a made up myth by personal trainers to try and help their clients feel better, or to try and get them to eat more so they end up having a little bit more energy. Either way, it's a lie just to help clients feel better. But the truth is, if you don't eat enough, you will continue to lose body fat because you're in a deficit. The only reason that eating too little stops you from losing body fat is because you get too hungry, you end up binge eating, and therefore you end up no longer being in a deficit and no longer eating too little. So this picture right here is going to demonstrate why you don't have a broken metabolism. Now we can break these into 4 sections right here. So we have your BMR, which is known as your basal metabolic rate, which is your metabolism, right? Then we have your NEAT right here, which is known as your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So this is the amount of movement you do every day. If you're moving your hands, getting your steps in and so on. Then we have your TEF, which is your digestion of food. And then we have your EAT, which is the amount of exercise that you do. Now, studies have shown that 95% of the population stay within their predicted metabolism. So this is this bar chart here, right? Now, this is made up of the processes for you to stay alive. So this is your heart beating, this is your lungs functioning, this is your cells regenerating, all that stuff so you survive, right? This other stuff is more determined about what goes on in your lifestyle. So for most people, this right here doesn't hardly change. This stays the same because this is you staying alive basically. However, what does take a massive hit, in particular, is the NEAT. Is in particular a word? Don't know if it is. We're gonna roll with it anyway. In particular is now a new word, right? Particularly the NEAT side of things, right? Most people don't move as much as they think they are, and they overestimate how many calories they're burning every single day. So although they think that they're in a deficit to lose weight, they're actually burning less than they believe so because of their lifestyle factors. Okay, now the final thing, I'm gonna use my phone because I don't know how to draw one of these, but we're gonna talk about your genetics. And what I'm gonna do for this is try and attempt to draw a little DNA strand so we can talk about how it's not your DNA either. This is gonna look horrendous. It's gonna look a little bit like this, going through here. Actually, we're all right. We're doing it okay. Right, that's gonna be a little DNA strand anyway. But the reason that this isn't holding you back, so a lot of people like to believe that it's their genetics holding them back from being able to get results. Now, athletes train for years, decades even, trying to get that 1% a little bit better, right? They'll train for 4 years for the Olympics just to try and shave off a millisecond from their time. They haven't reached their genetic potential despite being at the very top of their game. So what are the chances of you being at this stage of your journey and reaching your genetic potential? This isn't true. This isn't holding you back from actually being able to get the results. So now we've identified all these things that aren't holding you back from losing weight on the scales. We have got to the point of the video where I'm going to share with you what it exactly is. Now, the real reason you're not seeing any weight loss is because you're eating too much for the amount of calories that you're burning every day. Despite how much you believe you're in a deficit, you're simply not. And that's the cold hard truth of it. Because if you were like not eating enough calories and you were in a deficit, you'd 100% be losing weight. Now, what I will say is don't put all your results and progress simply on the scales. I've helped many women transform their bodies by losing body fat and building muscle, but making sure the scales stayed the same. And that's just one form of progress, right? So the main thing you need to check first is, are you seeing any results at all? Is your dress sizes going down? Is your body fat going down? Are you feeling more roomy in your jeans or your dresses? If so, don't panic about it because you're making great progress. However, if you're seeing no progress across the board, nothing's changing, no body fat's coming off, then you are simply eating too much right now for the amount you move. Now, don't worry about it. Like, this can be fixed. And like I said before, like, being in a deficit can be very difficult. But we need to look at what you're not doing at the moment and what you can do better. 9 times out of 10, it comes to a tracking issue. You're miscalculating the amount of calories that you're eating or miscalculating the amount of calories that you're burning. Either way, you need to be making sure that you're creating a bigger deficit and eating less. So the first thing that I would do is make sure that you start weighing absolutely everything out, tracking everything that you consume, everything that you eat, everything that you drink, and then monitoring your weight as you do so. If you see no scale weight changes, then you need to reduce your portions further, cut out a snack, or do something to create more of a deficit, or you can increase your steps. Continue monitoring your weight, and I promise you do this enough times, make enough changes, you'll start to see the results that you want to and start seeing that scale weight come back down. So there you have it. Those are the myths that are not holding you back from losing your weight. And then there's the one truth, that the real reason of why you're unable to see the scale weight going down. If you've enjoyed this video, then make sure that you drop it a like. Drop a comment below, tag your friends, and make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.